guys, it is Wyatt, and I want to apologize first and foremost. I know my voice sounds absolutely terrible. I've been sick the last week or so, been trying to fight through it, but I'm not going to let that hold me down. I have a fairly interesting video for you guys today, so let's go ahead, jump right into things. What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing, huh, dum-dum? Huh, you big baby? What? Alright guys, here is what I am talking about under this big old mess. You can see my pit bike back there. Instead of trying to crawl under there and show you guys what that is, I'm just going to get it pulled out and show you guys what we're going to be doing today. Alright, so this ugly turd right here is my old pit bike, and this thing is an absolute blast. Would you shut up? Would you shut up? God, you're annoying. What? Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Quit it. God. Trying to film, dum-dum. Trying to film. Trying to film. Trying to film. God. Such a pain in my ass, dog. Anyways, as I was trying to say, this here is my old pit bike. If you guys want to see this thing in action, you can actually head over to the Boosted Boys channel, and one of like the very first couple videos was actually me and Kyle mobbing our pit bikes around, and it was this guy in that video. But since then, a couple things have happened. I ended up putting this 200cc 4-stroke engine in this guy, and it has really ruined this whole bike. It is just too much power for this thing, and it has ripped it apart, and that's what we're going to be fixing today. So if you look at it from the back, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see how, oh my god, yes, you can see it. You can see just how far this rear wheel has been twisted and just freaking wrecked. So we're going to be fixing that today and getting the whole thing back up and running, because I love riding this thing around, and it's been way too long since I've done that. So we're going to go ahead, get this thing loaded into the back of the CRV, take it over to the shop, and start cutting it apart, getting it to work correctly. Well guys, we made it over to the shop, and to my surprise, the dirt bike didn't go too far, kind of stayed where we put it, so that's a plus. I'm going to get this thing pulled out real quick, get it in the shop, and then we will start cutting the damn thing apart. Alright guys, I got the bike pulled into the shop here. So what we're going to start by doing is getting the engine off of this thing and addressing the rear swing arm that doesn't line up. So you can see right here how many times this thing has been welded and gusseted and all kinds of crap. So we're going to cut this all apart, get this all nice and cleaned up one more time, and then re-weld this on straight so that the wheel actually lines up. And then we'll gusset all of this, make it a lot stronger so that we don't have to do this ever again. And then what we need to do is put a new engine mount on the motor down here that goes up to the frame, just so that's a lot more secure. And I also need to rebuild these engine mounts up here, because the other side one broke a while back and I ended up just welding it back together, but it's not quite straight. So we need to cut these off and make some new ones up here. And then just address some other little things with the bike, like this foam up here that's all bad and nasty, and then these really sharp staples that poke you in the leg every time you ride it. So we're going to address those as well. But yeah, so we're going to start with removing the engine, and then we will work on this rear swing arm, getting it nice and straight. I also need to add a new tensioner and a new chain to it. So yeah, we'll get to that in this episode as well. So far I have the rear wheel cut off now, and I just went ahead and cleaned up this snout or whatever's left of it. Technically a yoke, I guess. I don't really know what you'd call that, but anyways, this stub is ready to be welded back onto the frame straight. I went ahead and cleaned up the frame as well. So what I'm going to do is set this guy on here, something like that, kind of get it all lined up, give it a tack weld, and then if it lines up, I will go ahead and weld it out. And what I'm going to do is I will end up welding all the way around this, grinding it down so it's kind of flush, and then taking a small piece of strap metal, probably 1 inch thick strap metal, and getting it really hot and bending it all the way around this thing, and then welding it both top and bottom to really give that some added strength. And then we are going to gusset in this bottom piece on this as well. As you can see where it's just kind of open here to hold this rod. So I'll take a plate and probably weld in some gusseting from here to here and here to here. And then that other engine mount will also get tied back into this as well to kind of strengthen this whole thing up. So let's get this thing tacked on real quick, and hopefully it lines up without too much fuss, and then we will weld this thing out real quick. Alright, I got the rear swing arm welded on. I don't like recording welding with my DSLR because I'm pretty sure it's not good for them, but I did get this thing welded on. I'm still going to grind this down and weld in the flat strap on the top of this so that it really strengthens this up, as I have had this break right in this joint before. So we're just going to get taken care of that and hopefully never have any more issues with it. But I did go ahead and put the motor back in this thing to check alignment and how everything's going to line up. And unfortunately, we're going to have to build all new motor mounts. So I'm going to be cutting these ones off and these front ones because the motor is offset. Pretty much everything on this bike is bent to hell. I have done a lot of stuff with this bike that I shouldn't have, kind of like jumping it, as you will see in this clip right now. And with that being said, there's not much left on this bike that's truly straight. So I'm trying to get it as best I can, but it's definitely never going to be perfect. But right now with the tire lined up that it is to the frame is the best I can get it. But now the engine is actually offset and it's sitting a little bit clocked like this. So that's why we'll be building the new mounts. So I'm going to drop this thing back out of here again. We're going to get these old mounts cut off, and then we're going to move the engine. I'm actually going to move it back a little bit closer to the rear of this here, and hopefully that'll help with wheelies, and then we will start building some new mounts for it. So let's go ahead and get those cut off real quick, and then we will go from there. Well guys, it's been about an hour, and as you can see I got both the front and rear engine mounts cut off and ground down so that we can start fabricating up our new ones. I also got this all boxed in and fully welded out. The old Power MIG 300 from Lincoln did a good job. Nothing fancy, just a MIG weld. So yeah, got that flat strap around our joint weld here, and then I went and boxed in the lower half of this with some more flat strap. So hopefully this will take a lot more abuse and won't flex when we drop the clutch on this thing. We're gonna move on to the next thing, and that is getting this thing out of the jaw horse and start mocking up the engine where we want it to sit, and then start making the new motor mounts for it. Alright guys, so it's been another couple hours doing little things like building these brackets. Take freaking forever. It doesn't look like it takes that long, but I mean hell, it's probably 2 hours right there just building this stupid bracket. So anyways, the motor is now held up by its own. It's fully supported on the frame of the bike, and it's looking pretty good. So the next thing I need to do is fully weld out these new mounts that I built. I also need to build the lower mounts for down here. I'll probably just take one and go right up to the frame back there and call that good on both sides, obviously. And then I need to weld out these upper mounts up front here, and then the motor will pretty much be good to go. Then we will move on to doing the chain tensioner, but I'll probably do that tomorrow. That's because it is already pretty late and I'm pretty tired, and I also want to go get some rest so I can try and get to feeling better. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave off with the bike tonight. But I will resume in the morning when back over here and we have some more time to work on it. Well guys, it has actually been about a week since that last clip you just saw. As you can tell, I'm feeling a lot better, I sound a lot better, and I'm back ready to work on the pit bike. I got caught up on all my customer work as well, so that was really nice, and that's what I've been doing the last week. So yeah. As far as today, we need to get back on the pit bike. In the last video, we left off with kind of getting the engine mounts mocked up and the motor set in the bike, but I've actually got it all back together and already took it for a test drive. But don't worry, the bike is coming completely back apart today to do a little bit more to it, and I will make sure to film that for you. So here's the bike all put together. The reason the chain is off is because I've had nothing but chain issues with this bike ever since I put this motor in it, and that's just because of a number of things. One of them was the old sprocket on the rear did not line up, so it would go up and down, constantly tightening and loosening the chain. And the front sprocket was the same way. I cannot find sprockets that match the spline of this shaft. So the old one, I just drilled it out, set it over this, and welded it on so it would have a little up and down plane and a little bit side to side of where I welded it, so it was no good. So went ahead, cut that off, and we have a new sprocket for it. And hopefully we can get this one on there a lot straighter so we don't have any more chain binding issues or it getting loose and then tight. And I also went ahead and added this chain tensioner. I built this guy so that hopefully it will pull any of the slack or extra slack out of the chain from here on out. Super nice of you. What doing?
Water.
Well, don't. Oh wow, that's rude. Do that again. You won't. Alrighty, so we got the engine back together now. I ended up deciding to not split the case in half just because that sounded like a lot of work, and quite frankly didn't want to do it. So I just pulled this side cover off to give us a little bit more clearance to our output shaft right here, and then just used a grinder, cut that thing down, slammed the new gear on it, got it lined up and welded it in place, and it's pretty damn straight, so hopefully it works good. A little bit worried that it's like such a big gear. I don't know if this motor is gonna have enough power to turn it, but we'll see. So I'm gonna get the motor slapped back into the bike real quick, and then hopefully that won't take but like 10 minutes, and we'll try it out. Huh, sassy pants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Been broken by the time I parted away. Those guys that ever seen. Oh yeah, baby. My receding hairline, my aircraft hanger f***ing forehead. Anyways, we just got back from test drive. We're real freaking cold out. Unfortunately, we got a clutch that's slipping pretty good. I know it's slipping really bad because on the way back in, I killed the bike as I was coasting down a hill to just be quiet. And when I dropped the clutch in 5th gear, didn't turn the motor over at all. It was just spinning the clutch. So, unfortunately, we didn't get a very high top speed because even out on the road it was slipping. But as you can see there, we did get a top speed of 56 miles an hour. Well guys, it is actually the next day. It's about 4 o'clock outside, so it's a little bit lighter. And of course, a train's gonna go by right as I'm trying to film this. But we're getting ready to go over to the Boosted Boys / PFI compound and go put the gapping on Kyle. I told him last night that I got the pit bike ready to go. And if you guys remember, if you go way back on the Boosted Boys channel, one of the very first videos was like me and Kyle mobbing pit bikes around town. And that's just kind of been what we've done for like the last couple years. So I told him I got my bike back up and running. And I told him to either get his bike or his shopping cart up and going, and then I'm gonna come over there and drag that ass. So we are headed over to their place right now with the pit bike. I also have a Cummins motor loaded in the back of the CRV, and let me tell you, it makes this thing squat hard. What you know about that hella flush gang on a CRV? What you know about it? Ooh, fucking tucking fender well. But anyways, we are getting ready to head over there, so I'll start filming when we get there, I guess.
Maybe you won't red light this time.
Did you purge it?
Are you going off the light or
Hey, alright, I want to come get a little burnout action.
Alright, get a little burnout.
Gotta warm these babies up.
Street outlaw status. Alright. Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
That was pretty close. Wyatt had him though. You ready for a speed run?
Dude, yeah.
Top it out? What are you hoping for?
Right, like 60?
60 miles an hour on that thing?
I did 56 last night with a slipping clutch.
That's almost as fast as the shopping cart.
Nah, the shopping cart went 55.
I think there was 7.
Yeah, he has me on that.
Got my
I believe more
top
in the
speed here set
shopping
up.
Just wait till I get that turbo on there, bro. I'm gonna smoke you.
I'll turbo mine then, baby.
Can do it.
That would be crazy if you
Alright.
Yeah, I am. Do it.
Holy crap. I think that was close to 60.
Oh, baby. Let's see what we did. Oh, shit. Did 60, boy. I don't know if you can see that. 60. Decent, Ricky. Get in here.
Who, Emilio?
What's up, dude?
What at?
Hey. So we're over here at the Boosted Boys / PFI place.
Yes, sir.
And we're just doing some drag racing. And then I took the dirt bike out, did a little top speed runs. And
That little thing's fast.
it gets it, dude. We did a top of 60 miles per hour, which ain't too bad, especially with my fat ass on there. Kyle could probably do like 62 on it, 63.
Call me skinny?
Yeah, it's a skinny joke. But yeah, we're just over here messing around. I didn't film too much. But yeah, we're just getting ready to head out here shortly, I think. And that's really all I filmed. I filmed a couple little things, stole some things from Kyle.
Yeah.
Like a little flyby.
That was pretty sick.
Yeah, it looked dope.
Once I get that shopping cart put together, we're gonna race.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. So Kyle couldn't get his shopping cart back together tonight. Turns out he destroyed one of these bearings.
And I ordered the wrong ones.
Yeah, ordered the wrong bearings, so he couldn't get the jack shaft back together. So we weren't able to race, but we did race the ATV and then took her down the street for some top speed runnage, and it was good. So once this thing's back up and running, we'll definitely get a race here in the daylight so we can actually see it. And when are you gonna get your pit bike done?
I'll order a new tire tonight, and then once that comes in, I'll drop it off and go get a tube put in it.
Yeah, I need to do the same.
Within the next couple weeks for sure. Probably by the end of the week. And then next
we'll go
week I'll
mob.
have it up and going.
Anyways, that's all the further I'm gonna on the bike tonight. I'm gonna go catch a movie with the missus. Not missus, we're not married. With the lady friend. And I'll mess with this some more later. I also know this bike has quite a bit of blow-by when it runs, so maybe we will look at getting a new piston rings or new piston and jug, and maybe get some more power out of it too. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research, find a clutch and all that crap, but that will be it for this video. I'll throw in a quick bonus clip right now of the blow-by with this motor. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment down below and subscribe, and a like or a dislike. Like it for Bay. All right, thanks guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, so that is the oil filler capper. Okay. Now when we start this thing, let's see here. You can see all that oil just blowing out of there and all of the excess pressure that is blowing this thing up. So yeah, any hoosies, nasty ass mess.